Okay, today we're gonna do Carne Guisada. Basically translated, it's like a beef stew. Or it's different ways of making it. You can make it different ways. There's more of a beef stewish type thing where it's much more of a liquidy thing, and there's others that is much more of a thicker gravy. The way I'm gonna do it is kind of more towards the thicker gravy side. So what I'm gonna do, what I got is stew meat. You know, you can buy at the grocery store stew meat, or you can get some chuck roast or something like that, and just chop it up into cubes, make them into cubes. I've got like 2.5, 3 pounds. I think I got in here. I think about 3 pounds. Yeah, I think so, 3 pounds. So I got 3 pounds. So what I'm gonna do with that, I got that. So what I'm also gonna use is peppers. If you want them, like them, that's okay. You don't have to add them. It's just some optional. I like to put on there. Bell peppers. It's kind of colorful ones, just nice because they're much more sweeter, not the harsher ones like a green bell pepper. So that's why I like getting these because they're much more sweeter. 1 onion, medium onion, Spanish onion, yellow onion, whatever, stuff like that. But so I mean 1 onion, good size. 3 Roma tomatoes, right? So also 2 tablespoons of cumin, 1 of paprika, 1 tablespoon of paprika. Gives a smoky flavor to it, taste to it. Also, depending, this is all by flavor, how you want it. As far as the season and stuff, I'm going this as the base. If you want a little bit more kind of taste and see, it's like, I don't know if I like a little bit more taste to it. You'll be tasting, of course, always taste your food while you're cooking it. But to taste, all that, salt, pepper, paprika, the cumin, salt to taste. I'm gonna do some minced onion, garlic, actually, minced garlic as well. And then I'm gonna do a slurry. So what I'm gonna do is I got 2 tablespoons of flour, and then I'm gonna add like a half a cup of beef broth. If you got water, use water. You know, use what you got. So we'll do that, all right? So I'm just gonna use beef broth because, hey, I had it. You know, had some left over from another video. So, all right, so let's get cooking, right? Oh, actually first, before we start cooking, we're gonna go ahead and, actually let's first start cooking. We're gonna ground this up. I'm just gonna put it in the bowl here, and I'm just gonna brown it out. Also, another thing you might wanna do is kind of, if you wanna clean off some of the fatty portions of it, if you get it, just kind of cut it off a little bit. So we're gonna cut a little bit off, not too much because we want some of the flavor off the fat on there, but we don't want too much. So we're just gonna go through all the meat, make sure there's not a lot of fat, and just cut a little bit off, right? So that'll be a little cleanup on that, right? We'll start cutting, we'll see. All right, so what we're gonna do is go high heat, or medium high heat, high to medium high heat, all right? So what we got here is we got the stew meat. And what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of oil in here. So what I need to do is brown it. I'm gonna just brown it on each side at first, because I need just gonna put some oil in there. All right. So I'm gonna wait till this gets a little bit warm. Then I'll add the stew meat. I'm just gonna brown it. I'm gonna make sure it's browned on each side. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a crust around it, so that way it will just hold the flavor in as it's cooking when we put it all together. Okay, so we got some. Basically, I don't want to, just gonna put them all over the place. I don't want to crowd the pan. What I'm trying to do is just get it so I got a good sear all around in each one. I'm gonna do it in stages. I don't want to do it, crowd the pan too much. So I'm just gonna go through, get a good sear all around, flip them over. And then after I'm done getting this side, I'm just going to put them into the bowl over here. Okay, so I went ahead and cooked it all up, but see how it got all like good stuff at the bottom? Let's turn this down a little bit because I'm just trying to. Should I just turn it off there? So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some of this apple cider vinegar. It's deglaze in it, and basically I'm just gonna pour it in there. It's gonna splat. It's gonna. Okay, that's all we want. We just want to put a little bit in there. Just kind of, we're just gonna run it on the side. What we want to do. Turn on the heat back on real quick. What we're trying to do is we're just gonna get rid of all that yumminess. Make sure it doesn't go to waste. We're just gonna cook it up until all of the vinegary thing goes away. So that's just gonna burn off. So what we're doing is just kind of keep running it. Turn on the heat a little bit. Okay. Just run it like that, really good. All right, so all that's all going to go back into the meat because we don't want to waste that. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and let's turn that off. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna chop up the onions and bell peppers. First, we're gonna have to go ahead and cut down the onions. We're just gonna slice them out. Just run it really softly there. And we can just get that first layer of piece off. Okay, get rid of all this. Alright. So you can just, all we're going to do is just slice them down, you know. You can just slice them down that way, or you can just slice them this way. So you mix up little strings, either way. Just cut them down. Well, you know, I didn't do that thing I was going to do. I had a thing in my last video I found out, or I actually was looking and I heard somebody say that if you freeze your onion, you know, and then chop it up, you won't cry. Well, I should have done that. Oh well, next time. I'll do it one of these times. And I'll show you how that works out. Alright, so I'm just going through and making just long streaks. What I'm going to end up doing with these is I'm just basically long streaks. I'm going to basically cook these all the way down. They're going to caramelize. So, I mean, I'm not really too worried about, I'm just trying to get rid of the bigger chunks and stuff. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just kind of getting rid of the bigger, long, like big fat chunks. I'm just making sure that they're like stringy. I'm just kind of running through, making sure they're all the same stringiness. Yeah. All right, so looks good. All right, so what we'll do is we'll cut that down. Take some action. All right, so we got that. Okay. Where's my top? Right here, bud. All right, so. Ooh, man, my eyes are watering already from that onion. Okay, so we're just gonna bell peppers, like I said before. Just cut the ends. Alright, so let's cut there. Just do this, you know, you just run it along. See what I'm doing? I'm just running along like that to kind of get all the pieces. See? Yeah, isn't that cool? See? Nice. And that's all you have left, right? first take the tag off too. So what we're gonna do here, we're just gonna slice them down. Alright, do the same thing with the red one. Good. Cut the ends off. Alright. Put it in. Goes to one of the things. And then just lay it down and just go sideways. Like that, right that way. You're banging it and DC at the same time. Get rid of the tag. Tomatoes. All we're going to do is keep them up. They're not really going to be. We're just going to use them. What that's going to end up doing is first get the ends off. Okay. It's gonna. What it is, the acidness of these are going to basically break down the meat when you start cooking it. So, it's okay if these are in cubes. What we're trying to do is, the onions and the bell peppers, they're just going to basically just break down really hard, and you're not going to really see very much of them. The tomatoes, everything's going to break down really bad, so you don't worry about, oh, I don't want to have these big chunks and things. It's going to break down. We're going to be cooking it for about, like 2 hours. So, don't worry.
Happy.
Be happy. All right, so there we go. All right, so let's get back to the stove and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so here we are. All right, so basically what we're gonna do now is in the same pot that we went ahead and seared all the meat and kind of, we still got a little bit of stuff, that's okay. All flavoring, right? This is all flavoring. So what we're gonna do is put it on high heat or medium high. Add a little bit more oil on it. And we're gonna caramelize the onions. All right, so the oil's getting hot again, so what we're doing, just grab the onions, we're just gonna throw them in there. That's all we're doing. So what we're gonna do is just gonna cook these down. Kind of, all I'm doing is stir them around to make sure they're coated with oil really good. And that's also brushing against the sides here, so they're trying to fix up that. So all, like I said before, it's all flavoring. So we're just gonna keep cooking this down until this thing just gets caramelized. All right, so we'll see, we'll get back to that. And then we'll go on to the next thing, right? Alright, so right now we got about this little brownish right now, right? Which is okay, this is what we want. We're just breaking them down. Go ahead and add the peppers to it. We're gonna break those down too. So what we're doing instead of this, what we end up doing is we're caramelizing the onion, so we're actually giving it some flavor, some really good flavor. We're caramelizing the peppers at the same time because we're actually trying to get flavor. We're not trying to get flavor from the liquids that we add to it because that's just going to soak up the liquids. What we're trying to do is actually give it its own flavor and bring out its own flavors by frying them. Because the flavors it produces is going to just add more and more, nicey goodness to the meal. Don't worry, you have some little dark spots or black spots here and there. Don't worry about that. Don't.
Don't think you ruin it. It's good. Don't worry about it. It's all flavors. Here, we're just gonna go ahead and start adding. Good. I like garlic, so there you go. One tablespoon. One big hefty tablespoon garlic. Mix it in there. Pick that up a little bit. All right, so at this point, we're gonna go ahead and grab the meat. We're just gonna re-add it. Put it back in with its juices and stuff, all right? That's all we're gonna do is grab it all, put it all back in. Give it a little stir. Not to worry, not to worry. Tomatoes. There we go. He's gonna add to it. Just throw them on top. There we go. Just mix it all into there. A little stir. Like I said before, those tomatoes are just gonna break down the meat. All right. So, cumin. 2 tablespoons of cumin, just put it in there. Just paprika, 1 tablespoon of paprika. It's gonna give you a smoky. Okay. Just gonna mix it all in. Just so everything gets a good coating. There we go. All right, so we're gonna help it along a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of liquid to it. This time, just go ahead and grab some of your beef broth or water, whichever way you got. Just add some of that. I would say I'm adding like a quarter of a cup, right there. So we're just gonna do that. Add some pepper, just dash pepper. A lot of taste, a little bit of salt. Remember with the salt, like I always said before with salt, just add a little bit. You can always add salt later. If you add too much, then you can't take it out. So. Alright, there we go. Alright, so there we got that. What we're going to do is we're going to put a top on it, and we're gonna lower the heat. Just lower the heat, it's gonna cook slowly. Put the top on it, okay? So what we're gonna do is kind of low heat and just cook it. We're gonna check it in about an hour. And then see how it looks, okay? Every so often you're gonna wanna go in there and kind of stir it a little bit in between, in between that hour. But we're just gonna kind of check it and check the meat and see how it breaks down of that meat. And then after that, we'll keep, we'll see if we have to do another hour. So maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. It depends. But the hour is the breaker where you want to, take a look at it and see where you're at on it. Maybe you have to add a little bit more water or broth to it. That's okay. You're just helping it along, making sure it doesn't dry out on you. Okay. So that's basically all you're doing. So every so often, you're just going in and check it. So it's been an hour. We're just gonna go ahead. Make sure you pull it away from it. That's the steam. So what we're gonna do here at this point is we're just gonna check the meats. Just gonna go through the meats and see if they break apart easily. That's what we're doing right now because that's all we're waiting for. It's just about there. I'd say we give it another half hour to an hour at the most. Yeah. I say we keep going. It's not breaking down too good. I mean, it's breaking down a little bit, but not much. But
Checking it about a half hour.
yeah, checking it about a half hour. But just give it a little. Remember how you're kind of worried about the bottom? See how all that stuff's starting to go away? Let's just. All right. So all we're doing is just gonna. Every so often you probably want to just go and just run get like a fat spoon, and
just run it on the bottom just to make sure you're picking up all that stuff that was at the bottom. Just clean it off. See how the tomatoes is all broken down and everything? Yep. I can't even find any onions, can you? But that's all breaking down. We're almost there. Don't worry about the liquidy. We're gonna take care of that. Make it into a good thick sauce. All right, there we go. A little bit longer. All right, so we're at, let me see,
6:30.
6:30, so we're an hour and a half. There we go. Oh yeah. What do you think, babe? You liking that? Oh yeah, that's breaking down pretty good. Can't even grab a piece, can you?
How can you steal a piece? It's doing something like that.
Okay, so at this part, what we're gonna do is all right, made a slurry, right? We talked about that before. What I did was I grabbed 2 tablespoons of flour and a half a cup of beef broth, right? And I just stuck in a little thing like that, and that way, and I just kind of shook it around, make sure that all the little clumps in there are gone and disappear. So I went ahead with a spoon. I kind of went around the edges first and made sure I got it all out of there, and then I just started shaking it really hard and stuff, and just kept working on it until I got a good slurry, right? So that's what we're doing here. So, always in the background enjoying that news.
Oh, my face will hurt. That's so hot.
Yeah. All right, so all we're gonna do is just pour the slurry in here. Okay. That's it. Just gonna mix it in. Bring it up to a boil, right? Just gonna bring it up to the heat. Bring it up to medium heat. What we're just gonna do right now is all we're trying to do is get it into start bubbling, because that's where it starts thickening when it gets hot, heated up really good. And then from there, we'll just let it set for about 20 minutes. Just starting to thicken up. Just kind of stirring it, making sure that it's all incorporated. Waiting for it to come to a boil. Starting to, so right there. Starting to boil. We just want a good boil all around. Then we're just going to bring down the heat. And then from there, we'll wait about 20 minutes. Maybe about 20 minutes. Just keep checking until you get the thickness that you want. Alright, see how we got a bunch of bubbles everywhere? Alright, so we're going to do this. Halfway covered. Bring it down to low. Just let it sit there for 20 minutes. So, here we go. 20 minutes later, here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how thick that is. That's nice. And if you want a little bit thicker, go ahead and add a little bit more flour to your slurry and stuff, and that'll thicken up even more. So the more flour you add to it, to your little slurry, the more it's going to thicken. So just an FYI, but that's kind of nice. All right, so let's plate it up. All right, there you go, Carne Guisada. All right, look at that. That came out really nice. Tortillas, you can get some tortillas. Homemade tortillas. We'll get a video on that for this. Homemade tortillas and how you do them. All right, you can just make little tacos out of them. You know, in that way, or just rip off a piece and just eat that way. Oh, that's good. All right, there you go. Enjoy.